nothing. So you're gonna remove this rear panel. You can stick a screwdriver down here, pull up on this both sides. Just like that. There are 2 clips. On other models you're gonna have other things here, but they'll all just come out. No screws on this panel. And you're going to remove these 2 torque screws on either side of the back. You're going to have to move your seat all the way up to access these. You must remove the cup holder. Here you're going to have a bolt. You must also remove this trim. That and this thing also comes out. Just like that. Set it aside. All right. Using a T20, you have to remove these 3 rear screws and remove the lid. Alright, with those 3 screws out, you should be able to lift this upwards and outwards. So this is the switch that we're trying to get to. Whenever that's pushed down, it makes it not contact. So in this case, I think it's actually dirty. I'm gonna actually be able to clean it and allow this this little tab here to actually make contact with this part. It's actually really gummy. I think there's some soda or something dropped in here, so allowing it not to contact. You can hear it actually is making contact there, metal to metal. There is a cable back here that you can disconnect and pull it off of the contact, but in this case we're going to try it out. I'm going to clean these 2 contacts and see if our brake works. I'm actually going to go ahead and take it out. I went ahead and disconnected the little tab here. It was right there. There's a little, put it back on so you guys can see. It actually latches on. Just press the button on top and it unlatches. I'm going to remove this screw here and pull this little switch pack off of here so we can get a good cleaning of the inside and the top. Alright, so here's the switch. As you can see, it's very simple. It's just a spring essentially. Makes contact here. When your e-brake is down, it separates the 2 contacts. Let's see if I can focus it in there. It separates the 2 contacts like that, and no more connection, your light turns on. So we're going to clean that contact there. It looks very dirty. I'm going to go ahead and clean it. So I went ahead and cleaned it, used some WD-40, cleaned it up nice, cleaned in between the 2 contacts there. We're gonna put it back in and see if it works. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned that switch so I can focus here. Still got this thing taken apart just to double check, make sure the switch isn't broken in some way or anything, but I believe it's good to go. We're gonna try to pull it on the e-brake. As you can see there, got the light now. Push it down, off, pick it up. Also slightly, and it's working now. So we're good to go. Now we gotta put everything back together. One thing I didn't mention before, there is an air duct in here. There is an air duct. You got to put it back in there on the inside. You got to put the air duct back in there. There's a pipe, air duct pipe that goes down in there. You have to lay that in there. It goes in right in there. You have to line it up, make sure it's turned the right direction, and then you can push everything back down, and that's how you replace it. All right, so everything goes back in the reverse. Put your screws back in. Put the screw back in. Make sure your duct is inside of the rear vents, and then make sure it's sitting within the square tube in here. Once you got that, you can put your nut back in there, or your bolt actually. Put it back in there. Tighten her back up. All right. You can put your trim piece back in. Excuse the mess. This is my daily. I use it for work purposes, so don't worry about that. This thing goes back in here. Same way you took it out. Oops, this direction. Get these little pieces back in first. There you go. Just snap in. Same thing here. Alright, so now you got that. Now you gotta put these pieces back in. Line it up with the hole. There's a little nub right there. There we go. Put your screws back in there. I believe it's the T20. So next you put your 3 screws back in, align your lid, put all 3 screws back in. With your T20 torque driver. There you go. And you can see there, it's all set. And put your trim piece back in. This one is has an arrow there on the top, shows you which way it goes to the front. And it goes like so. Just press it back in, line up the little things, and it kind of has a zip tie effect. And there you go. Now we have working light again. If that switch is bad, sometimes they deteriorate and they break apart when you take them out. If not, if it's in good shape, then you can just reuse it, clean it, make sure it's springing up and hitting the other contact. Alright, last step is to put this cover back on. I'm going to put the tab in. Some of you may have the rear controls back here, but it's pretty much the same. You pop the whole thing off and you put it back on. And that's it. There you have it. All finished.